And I am Bizak. Yes, for the second time today, I am streaming. This time we're going to be talking about X-Men 97, Motendo, Life-Death, Part 1. And what did y'all, just high-level thoughts, as Mr. Brown would say, give me your high-level thoughts on what you thought of this episode of X-Men 97. Of course, I've got thoughts. One side of the episode had far more meaningful implications, I think, than the other. But let me know what you thought about the X-Men 97 episode. When Grace is saying it is too rushed in his opinion, and that's been something that I've been saying since the first episode. It seems like everything is happening at breakneck speed. Now, do we understand why the nature of the beast has changed since X-Men, the original animated series? Of course we do. We are limited to 10 episodes, and they're trying to tell multiple arcs to stories. And a little part of me says maybe that might have been ambitious on their behalf, but this is still not to say that I'm not enjoying the series, but it is moving so fast. We are blazing through stories, and I'm wondering how much of what we have already blazed through is going to be consequential in the end. The video game section had plenty of time to do more fulfilling stuff instead of a 4-second bit, then moving on. I get you that they did a lot in a little bit of time, and just like when Grace says here, it might have moved too fast through the stories. Again, still enjoyed the episode, but I wasn't as absorbed in the first part, which is the Motendo part. One of the things that I did like, of course, is that we're seeing Jubilee come of age. I like seeing that kind of progress in characters, especially since these animated characters seem to stay the same age for a long time. You know, we don't see many of them grow up. Hey there, Justin. Glad you made it back. Yeah, so some of the things that we don't get to see them age. We get to see things happen throughout their life, like Jean having Madeline Pryor having baby Nathan, and so we get to see big milestones like that, but we don't see them age. It's like Rogue has been 20 something for the last 30 years, and that's okay because we know that that's just the nature of animation. But this time we get to see Jubilee celebrate a birthday, and it's a monumental birthday. It's her 18th birthday, and she wants to do what she's always done. She wants to stay rooted in what defined her as a teenager. She wants to stay doing that throughout, it seems like, now stepping into her adulthood. And she wanted to go play video games. She wanted to go to the arcade. That's what she wanted to do for her 18th birthday. And Magneto was like, I don't think so. I got some stuff I need y'all to do. And she is resentful of that because she is trying to hold on to the past, and it is actually time to embrace the future. I loved all of that. Loved all of that. Did you see the little sneaky Magneto knew exactly how Rogue takes her coffee in the morning? If that went over your head, you should have been catching on. It's stuff telling us that Magneto and Rogue have been together in some way, shape, or form quite a bit, and enough for him to know how she takes her coffee. That, to me, I got friends who I've been friends with for 15, 20 years. I don't know how they take their coffee. You're kind of special if I learn your coffee order. And we see Magneto. Um, he knows Rogue. He knows exactly what she wants, and he's gonna give it to her. And we also saw Gambit test the waters. He's like, well, if you're taking orders, why don't you go ahead and take mine? And Magneto was like, I don't think so. So this is basically letting Gambit know everything he needed to know about the nature of the relationship between Magneto and Rogue. He's going to do more for Rogue because they got a little thing, a little shucky ducky quack quack. Gambit, I can see this becoming a real problem. And the next episode is called Remember It. I still feel like that's a Gambit episode, and I'm wondering if we're going to explore that. I could be wrong because I have watched other creators say, oh no, I think this is going to be this episode, or about this or about that. I'm grounded. I feel like it's a Gambit episode. Remember it. We're gonna see. What else was I gonna say? I don't have any fancy. If you wasn't here for the first stream that I did about Star Trek, I don't have no fancy slides. I've been feeling like crap because of allergies and sinuses, and I'm just been lazy. I'm not gonna lie. Now tomorrow's Star Trek might have some slides, it might not, but I think we can talk about this episode for the next, say, hour without any visuals, I hope. Speaking of, but we do got something different. I told y'all from the last stream, if you were here, I told you I was going to go work on the song for X-Men. So, long story short, it's an app called Suno AI. I have fallen in love with Suno AI, and I got it from Charlie from Penguin Z0 or Moist Critical, whatever you might want to call him. He was using it in one of his videos or streams, and I decided I'm gonna use it. So I worked on a song for Storm, and I got one. So I'm gonna let y'all hear that. When Greg says one thing that he did appreciate is their restraint from making this the Wolverine show, like most X-Men post the movie. It is so easy. Hey, Marge, good to see you. Glad you can make it. Yeah, that's the default is, oh, Wolverine is a very popular character. Let's just make everything about Wolverine. No, let's make it about the ensemble. That's where we're getting our best storytelling, is when we are making it about the ensemble. So I'm here for this not being the Wolverine show. We haven't seen a Wolverine centered episode yet. Does not mean we won't see one, but we haven't seen one yet. And that's a good thing. These other characters do need some shine. We need to remember what pieces we're playing with. And some people remember it very easily, and other people need that reminder. So this early part of this season has been reminders of who we're dealing with, what their powers are. And we've gotten some decent stories out of it. This one is not any different. The story itself, again, was very fast-paced, but we're talking about embracing change. We're talking about, let me see, go back to my notes over here. Doop, doop, doop. Yeah, so we're embracing change. We are, I guess, we are understanding that that there is more to who we are than what was in our past, when the future is right in front of us. Jubilee learned it in one way. Storm is going to learn it in another way. But I'm going to play this song because I want y'all to hear it. I think it was, I think this one turned out better than the Star Trek.
On the storm, now calm in the night. Used to dance in the chaos of lightning strikes, but now the thunder's gone, taking my mind. Lost my power, but I won't lose my life. Silent whispers fill the air of my mind. No longer electrified, no longer the fire, but in that silence the strength I find, redefining my power, igniting my desire. Oh, beyond the lightning, I'll rise, I'll soar, no longer confined to the stormy law. For in the darkness, a light will be born. No powers needed, I'll find my own way, reborn,
Okay, so it was just going to be music to the outro. I think that one was better than the Star Trek one. I actually like that. That might be the Storm theme song throughout the rest of the season. I don't know. We're going to see. So first part of, we've talked some about Jubilee. We see Jubilee go in her room after having her feelings hurt by Magneto, because he's like, no, we're not going to know. We're not going to the arcade. No, we got other things to do. We also learned through a bunch of little exposition that Jean and Scott are at the UN after the situation with Magneto. Now they're at the UN doing stuff. Wingrave said, can I give this thing? Yes, you can. You can give it all the lyrics and it will it will compose the instrumentation for you. So yep. Let me see. I'm gonna put the name of it down here just in case you guys don't understand what I'm talking about when I say Suno AI. Yeah, that's right. So you'll know what the name of the thing was to go get it. Go take a look, see. We start to see that the New Mutant, and not that movie. We ain't talking about that. Nope. We don't talk about New Mutants. But the New Mutant that is at the Academy is Sunspot. His real name is Roberto. Roberto and Jubilee, of course, by them being the same age, is automatically like, we the same age, so we just go hang out together. But it seemed from the beginning that there might have been a little bit something more there. We find out by the end of the Motendo part of the episode that yeah, they had a little bit of a thing for one another, and Jubilee got a kiss. Now, this is not to say it's her first kiss. We don't know, you know. However, we do know that she has been around the X-Men since we met her in the original animated series, and now she's at coming to age, a crossroads. She can make some decisions about her own future. Now, I don't see her leaving the X-Mansion, but I do see her and Roberto getting busy at some point. That's neither here nor there. They hanging out in her bedroom, and ain't nobody checking in on these kids to make sure that that nature ain't happening in this room. She's in there and she sees a video game system that wasn't there before, and it's called Motendo. It's got a cartridge already placed in the video game console. So they like, oh shoot, We got a new game. I think Rogue and them they done bought me a new game. I'm so happy. So she goes to play this game, and the game played her. So they get sucked into the game because we know Mojo. This is what he does. He suck you. Hope she doesn't become a vampire. You're going to have to explain that one to me. That one went over my head. But so Jubilee and Roberto, who still is like, I'm not using these powers, but they get sucked into the video game because of Mojo, and Mojo sucks people into TV games. When we meet this version of Mojo, though, he's all skinny because ratings are down. He feeds and he's sustained by the ratings. So when ratings are down and when people are not watching your shows and when your shows are flops and all this, she was a vampire in the comics for a while. That makes sense. Hope she doesn't become a vampire. I do. But he's all skinny and nasty looking. I mean, he's nasty looking no matter which way you look at it. But this one, he's all frail, and he's frail because the ratings are down. So he feels like pulling the X-Men, specifically this X-Men, back into the game will have his ratings go up. And what he's going to do is make this game based on her life. So things that she has experienced in her time, she's going to have to re-experience them and beat them again. So in that sense, it's giving her a lesson that, yes, these are your past is, we can make it as beautiful and nostalgic as you like, but you remember there was some pain back there too. And it took you some fighting to get to the other side of that pain. Now, here we are again fighting Sentinels. Here we are again with these crazy TV show parodies that he's got them. Who's the Boss? A Different World, Divorce Court. Those showed up as some alternate TV shows for Mojo's world. Let me see. But then what we stopped upon was the video game, and it was like a true video game. My understanding, it's in like the Konami video game, the X-Men, and she's got to battle all of her past shit. In the mean and in between, there's this character that keeps showing up that looks ominous, and we automatically assume that this person is up to no good. But then, as it turns out, this extraneous character that we had been seeing is Abscissa, and Abscissa is a extra dimensional version of Jubilee, who was created by Mojo as like a beta test to go through this video game, and she is the one that made it the furthest in the game. So she's there to help Jubilee. She's also voiced by the original voice actress of Jubilee, Allison Court. Allison Court stepped aside from being the voice of Jubilee because she felt like it should go to an Asian actor or actress. And so yay for Allison, we got to see her back anyway, and she's playing a version of the character that we are accustomed to hearing her voice attached to. I like that. Abscissa saves Jubilee and Roberto, along with a little bit of help from Spyro, who we saw morph into. But we know now that she's still going, she's still doing live and well in Mojo World. She's playing the part of a off-screen producer or a tech person. I don't know, but either way you look at it, she's still there. We saw who was that? Hey, Clarence, yay for Allison, right? So yeah, she now what the hell was I about to say? We talked about Abscissa. Oh, we talked about Spyro because Spyro, it just doesn't seem like she's really Team Mojo all the time. She was helping him, but then she kind of helped them at the end of this little tete-a-tete they had with Mojo because they had to beat the big boss, and Mojo was the big boss. And Allison Court's Abscissa and Jubilee got together and teamed up and fireworks and bombs and everything. Yay! They beat him. And then Jubilee got her kiss. Yay! This was the part of the episode. Mind you, the whole episode moved pretty fast, but this was the part that moved. We just didn't have a lot going on, and I'm not understanding. We had a lot going on, put it like that, but we rushed through both parts of the story when in all actuality we are on a streaming platform. And I know we've said this time and time again about Disney Plus series. We said it time and time again about all of the Star Trek, anything, because we are in this streaming environment. We should not have to be locked into a 24, 30-minute cartoon, animated series. If you need more time to tell the story, take the time needed to tell the story. Because LifeDeath likely could have been one longer episode instead of being cut up between Motendo and LifeDeath in this episode. And this is not to say Clarence liked the video game bits. Clarence, I think you're a software guy. So yeah, this all makes sense that this is something that you like. Yeah, this does fit the time, especially the fact that we are talking 90s video games. What was that? Was that a Sega Genesis type video game? So it really, they did what they had to do to make us feel like this game is a game from the 90s, right? But then when we move past the 90s and we move past Jubilee and Hanubu and getting a little older and all of that, we get to the second part, the LifeDeath part 1 of this episode. And it was LifeDeath is a storyline that in the comics that is featuring Storm and Forge forging Storm and Forge forging a relationship with one another. And the relationship is on, I guess, shaky ground from the start because of stuff that Forge knows about his past that Storm would have no way of knowing. So once he makes this whole pours out his heart and tells her who he is, he has to face the fact that she may reject him. And that's where we were in this. And I'm still not understanding, like, did he Forge, did he know Storm ahead of time where he had already had feelings for her? Because that even went pretty fast. We went from I want to help you to I love you, girl. That was in breakneck speed. And I think she was even confused by that. Like, shit, I love you. Wait a minute. Wait, slow down. Pump your brakes, boo. We don't even know each other. What is your last name? What is your real name? So all of these things, Clarence said he wonders if the levels were from the 90s arcade game. I've been hearing, because I'm not a gamer, but I've been hearing that it was taken close to from the game. Yeah, some of the characters that we saw in their player profiles going across on the video game screen. My understanding is that's the way it was in the actual video game. So yeah, that's a good question, and I think that's the answer. I haven't looked it up though. Um, but I don't want to say Magneto should have been up there. Maybe Storm is the Leah Brahms to his Geordie. Oh, that is so freaking scary. Because that's one of the things, especially today. Imagine that episode coming out today. Now, we ain't going to go into Star Trek because we just did Star Trek and we're going to do some more Star Trek tomorrow. But that was freaky. And this is pretty much just as freaky because 1 minute they meeting and shaking hands and the next minute he like, I'm in love. And even though we have to assume that some things happened in between, because it seemed like she had feelings for him as well, but she probably wasn't ready for love, and he spilled the beans. But anywho, so Storm continues to struggle. Okay, she continues to struggle. Let me see. So I had to ask myself, even though, again, story moving really fast, how does it feel to see Storm struggling? And it's like, it's sad. And it's sad because she's so despondent without her powers. But Forge uses horseback riding to put her up on the horse, let the horse go, and let her feel the wind and let her hear the breeze and all of the things that she might have been missing from her powers. She felt those things as she was riding that horse. Now, she almost went over the side of a mountain, but shit happens. But we saw her, her struggle and her relishing that feeling again. She got her old thing back. She felt good in that moment, but she still knows she can't fly. She saw the owl a couple of times. She was like, I keep seeing that owl. So foreshadowing, because the owl turns out to be not an owl, not an owl at all. Oh my gosh, booby trap. I'm going to hush about the Star Trek now. I'm not going to get myself into it. So no, it's nothing to me jarring about her behavior. This is what you expect from a person who had been superpowered their entire life, and then all of a sudden they feel like they're out in the world naked because they don't have the power. So I thought that was very well done. Storm being curious about Forge after however much time that they've spent together in his little cabin or whatever that is. They spent some time. She's noticing he got a mechanical hand. He's got a mechanical leg. He explains to her very loosely what happened to him. If you'd like a little more insight into what happened to Forge and what caused his injuries, what caused him to have the cybernetic type hand and leg, you can watch my video about Forge. It's on YouTube at this, like right now, as we speak. It's a little 5-minute video that kind of gives you a primer into Forge, and it kind of led right into where we are right now in the story, what Storm is finding out what happened to him. And then they get to talking, and he tells her that between him being in the military and being there with her, there was another chapter of his life where he worked for the government on a team, and he was creating certain types of weaponry with the government. We saw the Dr. Adler. We saw the doctor that Mystique had kind of taken his, was that Mystique or was that Morph? Mystique had kind of taken his life over in some episodes in the original animated series. We saw his photo on the wall, meaning that Forge was working with Dr. Adler. So at some point, he could have been around for the switch and Dr. Adler changing his plans for the mutants to making those collars that will dampen their powers. Not only that, Forge's in this universe, or in the cartoon, Forge's creations also inspired the creation of the neutralizer gun that neutralized uh, Storm's powers in the first place. So in her mind, this guy, he wants to help her, but she would be accepting help from the same person who put her in the position that she's in. And she whacked him pretty good for that, baby. I understand that's comic book accurate slap. He got the slap. So after the slap, not after the snap, y'all see what I did. He just called it a war, when Grace. He just called it a war. And I'm wondering if they're not mentioning timelines, because then people start doing math. Now, the math would have worked out probably for Forge in this animated series, seeing as though the animated series is set in the 90s. So he would have been a good age, but maybe they're trying to not box themselves in a timeline. So they're not saying the names of wars, because they never mentioned, of course, it's kind of hard to mention it without there being flags put up on your stuff. Because I think like the last live stream, I said the word of what happened to Magneto's family in the movies. I said the word, the H word. Y'all know what word I'm talking about, right? If you don't know what word I'm talking about, somebody in the chat, tell them what the word is, because I can't say it, because that got me flagged for just for saying that word. And that's actually terrible, because if you stop saying the word and we stop discussing it as what it was, you got these people out here who say, oh, Hister, that guy from that same war that we were just talking about, Hister, you know who Hister is. He wasn't that bad. That's what some people think. And the reason why they can comfortably think that way is because we stopped talking about things. We got to use these extra syllables and try to talk all clandestinely, and instead of saying what the hell it is. If you say what the hell it is, then they like, okay, well, you can say what you want. You can't get no money. And it's not like I'm making much money anyway. But anywho, exactly. He didn't say it in the animated series, but he can't say it because that H word that you wrote right there, When Grace, the H word was against the rules, at least during the Fox, when they had when it was on Fox, they couldn't say that word. They couldn't say it, so they had to allude to it in other ways. And yeah, but Magneto didn't say it either. And I'm wondering if these same rules are applying over on Disney Plus, or if they're doing it because they don't want to paint themselves into a corner. Did Forge say something about longer life? Maybe he's misremembering. Maybe Clarence is misremembering about Forge saying something about a longer life. I don't remember him saying it. That doesn't mean that he didn't say it. We kind of have to expect that there is something that is extending his life, because he's around. I guess he's around, and he's still, he doesn't look old and frail in what is it? Was it 30 or 40 years into the future where Bishop first went? Remind me. It's Webrace saying it's weird if they can't mention that H word while still trying to tell Captain America stories. And I guess one thing is, I guess they feel one way about animation and another way about the movies. I really and truly do think that it's a disservice to not discuss it, but I'm not the majority. I'm just me. But yeah. But yeah, so Storm, I said she slapped him. Then she goes outside and tries to get away, and that damn owl She runs into it again, but the owl, she realizes the owl is not an owl. The owl is the adversary. And the adversary is truly a big bad. I think the adversary will make a great villain for longer than the life death episodes. And I don't know if that's what's going to happen. Are we going to wrap the adversary up the same way we wrapped up Madeline Pryor really, really quickly? But in the comics, the adversary it comes from chaos, and its only desire is to bring chaos wherever it goes. The adversary, it wants to bring chaos. It wants to reshape reality into a reality that it can thrive in, and he thrives on disorder. So he's there to change the world. The adversary is in the Bible. Everywhere you would see the word Satan in the Bible, it would say that would be translated into the adversary. So Satan becomes the adversary. So here we are. This is basically the X-Men Satan, it's able to warp realities. We've seen it happen in parts of this episode. It seems when Storm goes over the edge and then she lands back into the cabin, it's like the adversary is manipulating time space around that area. I could be wrong, creating all these kinds of illusions that she was experiencing. And Forge tells that thing, "You get out of my house." Well, he's telling it to get out of his house because he probably recognizes who the adversary is. The adversary has a connection to Native American folklore, and he is canonically Native American. Forge is. So he's also a shaman. We talked about that in my little short video. He's also a shaman, and he would know who the adversary is. He would have a familiarity with this particular demon. Trickster nature. He has a trickster nature, again employing manipulation and deceit on top of its power. And let me see if I got that pulled up still. I do. So let's go here. Yeah, see? I'm going to pick up these comments, but I see Marge, you said the exact same thing I said. But I'm going to try to share the adversary power set with you guys, because let's make it a little bit bigger. And let me see if y'all can see that over there. Yeah, it looks like you can. Y'all see adversary is part up. Adversary isn't necessarily a bird clearance, because remember, he can warp reality, so he can be whatever he needs to be. And he's trying to just be intimidating, And Windgrace, going back to the H word thing, Windgrace is saying, I can understand not showing any graphic details, but to gloss over the H word completely is kind of antithetical to the X-Men's ethos. And I agree. Totally. Marge says, I think the name Satan means adversary. Absolutely. Clarence was asking, and he's a bird, talking about the adversary, but the adversary could be like who he wants to be. And Storm gets to all of these existential enemies. Poor lady. Once again, we've heard Storm in this episode be referred to as a goddess. So that's That's first. So maybe, possibly, the reason why he's getting all these existential threats is because she's more than what we think she is. And I know that there's the story of how they call it in the comic books, in the movies, but in this animated series, it does feel like they're trying to push for her to be something more than human. They've already said she's an Omega level threat. We had not heard that attached to Storm before. We've already heard them call her a goddess twice, at the absolute least twice. And I got a feeling, and now she's facing up against Satan. Okay, she's facing up against Satan. So what is that telling us about Storm? It could be telling us that they're going in a different direction with her. So yeah. So the thing is not, oh shucks, you're right. Thank you. Thank you. And they still showing them. They ought to be happy I'm showing they crap. But anywho, because I'm not trying to be that person today, not right now. You see his power set. He's not overpowered, but he does have a high level intellect, high level of speed, ability, energy projection. We ain't gonna see this thing fighting, and we're not gonna see it. We're not gonna see it doing a strength test, even though it's still pretty strong now. Still pretty strong, but it's not it ain't Superman levels, But the fighting skills, this is terrible. That's like fighting me. But all the rest of these, they are flying off the adversary is flying off the charts. The thing is omniscient intelligence, can move at warp speed, indestructible, virtually indestructible, and their energy projection is virtually unlimited. Now, one of the things that we might find out in let me remove that. One of the things that we might find out later is that the adversary's animated series weaknesses might be what we saw in the comics, and in the comics, the weaknesses is a freaking iron. Anything made out of iron. So again, something very common could hobble the adversary, but the adversary is formidable, and I'd hate for it, because I talked a long time to say this. I'd hate for the adversary to be relegated to one of these half an episode threats, and then next episode we just moving on to something else. I don't particularly want that, but it could happen. I guess that's the likelihood, is that it could happen. That doesn't necessarily mean that it will, but it could. But I just feel like there is a far more upside to that villain than one episode. But then also we could bring in the possibility for it to show up in later seasons, because they're not going to kill the adversary, but they might hobble it. What was we talking about? So yeah, Forge recognized the adversary, because Forge, I think the adversary is actually who helped him in the war in Vietnam. Forge lost his whole squad, lost his whole little crew. They all got killed. He got pissed. He started doing these incantations from his Cheyenne heritage. He starts doing these incantations, and he calls forth some beings to destroy the enemy forces. And this happens. He uses actually the souls of his friends who had died in this war, he used their souls to help call forth this being and had them kill the enemy forces. And then other stuff happened in the comic book, but we know that he knew who the adversary was. He had seen it before. Wingray said, that just reminded me of an animated episode of Iron Man fighting someone weak to iron, only for him to get pummeled because he doesn't actually have any iron in his suit. Oh gosh, that's actually hilarious. You just need one piece of iron, just one. Shoot, can't call yourself Iron Man if the suit ain't made out of iron. Oh gosh. So let me see. Oh, the adversary is again a beast, and especially, and then especially coming at Forge and Storm. So now I'm gonna talk about some of the Easter eggs that I found. There was a long shot stuffed animal, and remember that the long shot, Jubilee had a little crush on him in the original animated series, and she even had a stuffed animal of him in her room. The whole arcade game, which is the Mojo verse Mojo World, and that Mojo uses mutants as entertainment. It's a full-blown video game parody of his world. They talked about Sauron, that pterodactyl villain from the original animated series. When we saw that in the Savage Land, they talked about Asteroid M, which was Magneto. He had the space fortress or base, whatever you want to call it, before Genosha and all of that. So that was mentioned. That poster behind Jubilee is the Days of Future Past comic book cover. They talked about Genosha, the mutination of Genosha. They showed it. I think they showed it in the video game sequence. That 16-bit video game sequence had a rendition of the original cartoon's theme song. And let me see. Oh, here we are, Clarence. It is. It's on my list. I just didn't remember reading this. Cameo potential on the video games character select screen. A shadowed figure with white hair in the X logo is potentially a hint towards a future Cable appearance. Oh, well, that ain't what we was talking about, but okay. That was something I remember seeing, because I did remember I wanted to say that it could be hinted about Cable's appearance in a future episode because they had him on that video game. Yeah. And then for Storm, of course, we know LifeDeath. That is an actual arc of a story of X-Men storyline about the Storm and Forge relationship. There were pictures up in Forge's workshop. Again, the one with Dr. Adler, I believe his name was. And they also had one of the X Factor team after he told Storm about him working for the government. He was working with the X Factor team. So he had a picture of him on that original team. He also, in that picture with Dr. Adler, it was a young him in his military uniform. So that was another little hint. Excuse me. Motendo, Nintendo. Yeah, I asked was it Sega Genesis, but it's kind of obvious it was Nintendo, huh? Oh gosh. Told you, never been a gamer. I have played, but I've never could be considered one. Wingray says the guards in Genosha look like Boba Fett. Hell, so does Mojo. Mojo look like Boba Fett too. Shoot, not Boba Fett, Jabba the Hutt. That's what I'm thinking about. No, I didn't see the guards in Genosha. I don't think I paid attention. Clarence didn't either. Oh gosh. So where we think we going, y'all? Do we think, number one, do we think that in the next episode we getting not next episode, but the next time we return to the life death, which will be the week after next, do we get a Storm with her powers back? And then also, what are we getting next week? See you, March. Have a good one. So yeah, so what do you think we're getting next week? The name of the episode is Remember It. Tell me your wild speculation, your wild theories of what that episode is about. I told y'all mine, and yep, I'm going down this hill until Tuesday or Wednesday. What day does it come out? I gotta remember. But anywho, I'm sticking with what I said on that. And I honestly think that they're going to drag out the Storm thing. I don't think we're going to see her get her powers back in that first life death part 2. Maybe I'm wrong. Tell me if you guys feel differently. Because if she gets her, but I was reading something. Gambit storms back to the bayou. But can he go back? Can Gambit go back to New Orleans? Was he run up out of New Orleans? I don't remember how it happened in the animated series, if they showed it, and I know they did. I feel like they did. But can he go back? Because my understanding is, he was part of the team of thieves. He was supposed to marry old girl. Some shiggity shoogity happened, and he can't go back. But I could be wrong. Yeah, poor Gambit, man. He came back and uncovered a traitor. I gotta watch it again. I watched it so much, but without watching it, it's just on. So I'm thinking, oh, it'll jog my memory, and I can't remember whether I saw like that. Was that one that I saw or what? So Winggrace is like me. Winggrace remembers a part that I don't remember. He remembered that he came back and uncovered a traitor, and he's not 100% sure if things are resolved after that. Y'all let me know if you remember something that I'm not remembering or that Winggrace is not remembering. So if he, it would be super uncomfortable. I'm not going to lie to you. If I was messing it, I can't even say used to mess around. If I was dealing with, even on just an emotional relationship level, I was dealing with a guy, we all lived in the same house with a whole bunch of our other friends, and we could never really do nothing because for whatever reason we couldn't, right? Because their situation is they couldn't because he can't touch her and she can't touch him, right? So I would feel really funny if all of a sudden somebody that moved in the house that can touch you, because I'm like, damn, I didn't walk around all this time not touching you, and we've been in this full-blown relationship, even though it never could become physical. It was still a relationship, and now you in here, you got somebody in here living in the house that all of a sudden you could touch. I would feel some type of way about that. I don't think I can stay there. So I don't know how grown up they're trying to make this show, but if it were me and I were in Gambit's shoes, ain't no way in the hell I could not live there. I would have to find a new place to live. So would he go back to New Orleans, or will he just go get his own place, or what will he do? Because this is like we've seen him at the house a couple of times. Both times at the crib, we've seen Gambit. He got the same clothes on. So it's not like he got a whole lot. He's packing real light because he still had on that little half shirt, that same half shirt from the first episode, Breakfast. He had it on at this breakfast too. So anyway, man, what to do for Jubilee's birthday was that whole situation around it, because we talked about how would you just how would you feel? It's, right? You don't know how to feel. Clarence is like, should he be jealous or should he be happy for her? Because you love her. One part of you does want her to have the best that life can give you, to be able to be physically intimate with a person, But then at the same time, I'm like, well, shit, I always thought that person was gonna be me. Oh gosh, Win Grace, you are so right. Yeah, is a thief. He can get new clothes if he needs them. So yes, I was being judgmental of his fashion choices. Shame on me, because he can wear whatever he wants. So this is truly a choice. He probably got 37 of them shirts hanging up in his closet, and I tried to shame him for having the same thing at breakfast for 2 episodes. Shame on me. Oh my gosh. Gambit, yeah. I feel so sorry for him. I feel sorry for him because I couldn't live there. And now you're part of this team and everybody's counting on you and this and that. And now you got to live in the house with your girl. And this old, not just any dude. Like if it was a dude who looked as good or had as much going for him as Gambit, okay. And you come with a dude that's 50 years your senior. Now all of a sudden you want to be in relationships and touch people. Win Grace says he loved that scene. They go in his closet, there's 37 of those shirts. One uniform. Yep. Oh gosh. So yeah. So this episode, again, it wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. Again, I wish we had more season so that we could let these episodes breathe a little. But if wishes were fishes, and wishes ain't fishes, so we can't say that. But we just need these episodes to breathe a little bit. We just need to be able to, get our bearing before the next episode, before it's over and the next episode is starting. I'd like to spend a little bit more time with Life Death, particularly that arc right now. I don't know what we're getting, and I might be like, well, shoot, no, we can go away from Life Death because this next episode might be so great. But I'm invested in Storm's struggle because she's like at least one of my favorite characters from the X-Men, if not the favorite, So what was I gonna say? So if she is going to have a struggle for a while, I like to stick with the struggle. But I understand we got far more story to tell. Is this the first show with the Marvel animation singer at the beginning? I think they did. Did they do it for What If? Something. I can't remember what. And they had is this the first show and it just changed? And I've seen a few iterations of that logo, and I think it is the first. This is the first series with that. And I think it changes from episode to episode. And that's why it seems like I've seen it before, because it's changed. The first episode was showing us stuff back from last season, from way back when. And then lately they've been tossing in stuff that has happened as we are progressing throughout this season. Justice said, I'm with you, Tasha. I would have to exit that situation. Yeah, I couldn't be there. I wouldn't be no good. And y'all be trying to get me to pay attention to whatever the mission is, and all I'm doing is looking at these two to try to see what they doing. You can't work like that. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, man. I just remember it looked different every time because they put a little bit something different in there. I don't remember. When Grace said they had a couple of Marvel animated shows on Hulu that nobody ever talks about. I really liked Hit Monkey. Was that where what is his name? MODOK. Was that an animated? I think it was. And episodes was I watched maybe 2 episodes and I was like, I can't do it. I cannot do it. So yeah, I don't know. I never paid attention to whether they had that at the beginning. But yeah, I didn't like MODOK. I didn't see Hit Monkey. MODOK said it was a CG animated show that he didn't like. I didn't like it either. And I think I made it 2 episodes and I was like, I love Patton Oswalt. I love him. But even he was like, deep in my soul, he was speaking to me like, girl, you need to change this channel. You know, you're not even enjoying this. So why are you watching this? I know you love me, girl. I know. You go watch Star Trek. Get in your happy place, girl. Don't watch this. And I said, okay, Patton, but I wanted to be here for you, man. He was like, no, I understand. Go on, girl. Anyway. Justin said, God was my enemy. Now he's good and my boss. And he got my girl. No, I can't do all of that. That's too much. That's asking too much of one person. You mean to tell me we've been trying to stop him for all these seasons, and then this season, y'all want to bring y'all ass in here and tell me, number one, he's the head of the manor. We gotta, if we want to continue to live here for the free 99, we gotta live here with him. So that's the first thing you telling me. The second thing you telling me is, we're gonna treat him like he's a good guy. And that's the second thing you telling me. And the third thing you telling me is this man know how my girl likes her coffee? That's too many things that you asking me to accept. Shit. Oh gosh. Oh, what Grace says, Hit Monkey was really fun with Ted Lasso. I might have to try it. I wonder if it's still on Hulu. Oh, wait a minute, but Hulu and Disney Plus is one thing now, ain't it? I'm gonna have to look up that if somebody in the chat don't know. I'll let y'all know, because I thought for sure that's what I had been reading. A vengeful Japanese snow monkey and the ghost of an American assassin cut down Tokyo's underworld. That actually does sound fun. Lance, you thinking about that too? Yes, I don't know what I was talking about as far as where I think this crap is going this year. But yeah, I'm excited to continue to see if it just builds on what it's already established. Now, what was I gonna say? I gotta get this one a rating, don't I? And the first two, one of them was 4.999 and the other one was 5 and then another 5. So today, forgive me, but I'm gonna give this a 4. They to me it's not spending enough time in a storyline to have two big storylines, Jubilee's birthday and Storm and Forge, So yeah, it's too much happening in not enough time, and they're rushing parts of the story. Doesn't mean that I don't like the story, doesn't mean that I'm not feeling, still feeling very optimistic about the upside of this Marvel show, and it's still like, at least out of everything Marvel has done on Disney Plus, as far as even the live action stuff, the animated stuff, this was right, at least number 3. Now I know y'all saying, what 2 things do you have in front of it? I'm not telling you, because everybody gonna look at me all crazy and stuff, because everybody knows how I felt about WandaVision, and I still feel that way about WandaVision, and it's not a whole lot you're going to do to stop me from feeling that way about WandaVision, and everybody knows I love Loki. So 3. That's saying an awful lot. 3. So Sulu is in Hit Monkey. I might have to check it out. It'll probably be on Hulu. Yep. So this next one again, Remember It. That's the name of it. I'm not telling you to remember it. The name of it is Remember It. I feel like it's a Gambit episode. I hope that I am right, because I got to get in my man's head. I got to know how he feeling. I want to sit down with him for 20 minutes and be like, Gambit, how you doing, baby? I know it's hard. I know it's hard. Come on, talk to Auntie Gambit. So I hope we're going to spend some time with him, because he needs a friend right now. He needs a friend. Because I'm not 100% sure that Rogue, is Rogue Rogue? Is Rogue Rogue? Because if she's not Rogue, then, then it makes sense. Everything beyond that makes sense. But if that is really Rogue, I'm wondering how she could live with herself. If you looked at, if Professor X was a father figure to you, then at the absolute, I guess, furthest, it's like this would be your father figure's best friend, or maybe like an uncle or a godfather. I don't get it. And Gambit right there, even though you would essentially kill him with with that, but Wingrace really liked Hawkeye. He said people seem to dislike that show. I'm trying to think, is there one that I really and truly disliked? Because I like Hawkeye too. I wouldn't put it in my top 3 of the MCU stuff on Disney Plus though. It would come someplace towards the bottom though, and the reason why is because I feel like so much that came out was good. Even the stuff that some people hated, I loved Miss Marvel. I loved it. I thought the story was good. I thought the directorial choices that they made, I thought that was beautiful. The young lady, and I forgot her name, Iman Vellani. That young lady is a breath of fresh air into the MCU. She seems like she It ain't no seem like she knows the source material. She truly is a comic book fan. And she is having so much effing fun that it radiates off the camera. And when she's having fun, hell, you having fun because she's having so much freaking fun. Because she's so fun, everybody around her is having a little bit more fun than usual because she is so young and refreshing. And I just love that young lady. And I don't know what made me go on the Iman Vellani train, but I love that young lady. And I guess I said all that because there's not one show that came on Disney Plus as an MCU show that I truly hated. There hasn't been one. Now there are those again that I like more than others, but Secret Invasion and freaking maybe Hawkeye would be down there. But I didn't hate any one of these. Hawkeye and Secret Invasion would probably be down there. God, I can't even remember how many shows have already come out. I think Moon Knight is up in my top 5 somewhere. Of course, I got time for you, Clarence, man. I ain't going nowhere for a little while. What's your question? It's slightly off topic. Yeah, Clarence said he liked Hawkeye. Wingrace said he thinks the Rogue Magneto relationship goes back to when she was still a villain before she knew anything good about the X-Men and Charles. Also, she been with him for a minute. Ms. Marvel will age well. I think so too. She's actually writing for Iman Vellani. Yeah, she's writing the Ms. Marvel comics. This is the type of person you want. And you want it to be infectious. You want everybody to feel, as far as you're coming, okay, at a certain point, you're building out a roster for some young people who will grow with this is just saying that Marvel and cinematic or comics shit is going to continue to be profitable over the years. You want this young chick, people that are coming in adjacent to her who are going to help take the studios and the movies to the next generation. You want them to be the leads, and you want them to be, them and that character should be synonymous, just like we do with Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. It's not fair because at some point somebody else is going to play Iron Man. It's not fair, but those characters have become synonymous with one another, and it is a compliment to the actor that you have become Tony Stark. Anywho. But yeah, Clarence, what's your your slightly off topic question, loosely related? We got time. Justin says, true. Also, the Age of Apocalypse story arc, they were together, but there was a lot of backstory with Gambit also. Clarence says, I read someone on Twitter talking about The Rock not supporting you know who. Then as a dig, they said he was the catalyst to end the DCEU. Is that a fair assessment? Who he ain't supporting? They said he was the catalyst to end the DCEU. I don't think he was the catalyst to end it. I think it was ending anyway. But I think they thought that Black Adam was going to do so much better than it did. And they thought that he was going to be, even I thought before we saw the movie, I thought that, okay, I think The Rock he's going to be the savior of this thing. He's going to right the ship. I thought that's what was going to happen with that movie. And then, people started reporting in, and I saw the movie myself, and I'm like, I don't like it. This was a hodgepodge movie of different concepts and ideas from other movies that have already done well, and then you're going to put it all in your movie because I want to one of these goddamn tones will stick. And I didn't like it for that reason. I liked some of the characters they introduced. I wish we would have gotten more Dr. Fate. It's just so much they did right. Black Adam is the Rock should have been perfect, but it was some about the script, the story itself that just wasn't right. Wasn't right. But anyway, oh, you said you know the answer, but it was hilarious seeing him get destroyed in the comments. Oh, he says he doesn't support Biden's reelection run. Y'all know how I feel about that. I'm gonna say this about we need some younger people that we can have faith in and choice. You know, people who got a dog in the fight per se, because we got some old ass candidates and they're not gonna be around to even the stuff that they proposed during their 4-year tenure as president. They probably ain't gonna be around to see that get carried through. So I'm like, why do we keep putting these? But that's ageist. I know. I shouldn't say stuff like that. Shame on you, Tasha. Oh, I mean, he was a catalyst to end the DCEU. That's not a fair assessment. And Rock shouldn't. He can support who he want to support. Put it like that. Support who you want to support. Make a choice that you can live with. Don't be. I'm tired of the only reason I will dislike a Trump supporter for just for being a Trump supporter is if they throw the rhetoric in my face all the time. Other than that, if we could just sit and chill and vibe and talk like regular ass people, I would love that crap. I would love it. But why do we care who Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson votes for? It's starting to, just because you don't want to vote for who you want to vote for. And I got problems with both candidates, you know, just on some, they're too old to represent. They're just too old to represent what the world is going to need when they're gone. Anyway, Wayne Grace said that he liked Black Adam, but mostly for the JSA, and that's why I did. I liked the JSA. I liked, man, y'all know I got a thing for the Hodge kid. What is his Aldous? Ooh, I got a thing for him. So I thought he was fantastic as Hawkman, and then Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate was, mwah, oh my gosh. So I really don't want that to I don't want that to be the last time I see them. I want to see more of them. That was very good. It was a very like 2012 idea. It felt dated just a bit. Clarence said, I don't think it was terrible. So Clarence didn't have as big a problem with it as I did. He said it was 10 times better than Wonder Woman 84. And Wonder Woman 84 was trash. Trash. Because, and that was during COVID when that movie came out, right? Because I didn't take no chance going out to the movies. I was like, I know if I have, at that time, HBO Max, whatever they was calling it, if I have this, then I can watch every movie as it comes out, because that's what their dumbasses was doing over at HBO Max. They putting out all of the movies at the movie theater and at home on the same day, but that was during COVID. So I watched Wonder Woman 84 at home. And I'm like, I'm so fucking glad I didn't leave the house for this. That was terrible. especially after all the goodwill you got from the first Wonder Woman movie that was fantastic. You imagine how, well, I guess you can, because you might have been one of the people. Just imagine how disappointing it'd be. You go in there remembering the Wonder Woman from just a couple of years before. You go to the movie theater thinking that you're about to see uh, a spiritual sister to that movie. And then you get in there and you get partway through and you start to realize this is like a spiritual sister through incest or something funky like that. That is what kind of spiritual sister Wonder Woman 84 was to the original Wonder Woman. That was terrible. It was terrible. Wingray says, well, The Rock also refuses to play the bad guy or to lose in his movies. So that was probably a reason it didn't feel quite so genuine. Exactly. Because it would have been beautiful if it would have been Shazam versus Black Adam, as it should be, as it should have been. But the ego of Dwayne Johnson couldn't have that. I'm not about to, you know what? I'm not gonna let myself get all turned up about it's Hakuna Matata, right? Justice says he loved Wonder Woman. It was top 5 comic book movies of all time, but Wonder Woman 84 was a big letdown from the first one. It certainly was. Claire said he's old though. If he was in Ernie Hudson shape, it would be different. We're talking about one of one of our candidates for president. I mean, you insert either one. And Wingray said Ernie Hudson looks better now than he did in Ghostbusters all those years ago. Yeah, I actually thought it was just me, like, because you get older, your tastes change. So somebody that I wouldn't have found attractive probably 30 years ago, here we are 30 years later, and all of those features make him or her or whomever look more distinguished. And that is how Ernie Hudson is aging. Those same characters that I didn't like when he was a younger man and I was a younger woman, or I'm like, oh, there are some distinguishing features now. They add to his handsomeness, especially at his age. Justice says, not a fair to Rock. It was done bad with the DCEU. I mean, it was because they had Cavill coming back and fans were hyped. Then Gunn killed the idea. See, because that's the thing. I don't know. I can remember a whole conversation where he said that he didn't kill the idea, that something else happened. I don't know. I can remember that there was a big point of contention. Wigray said, can we all do a write-in ballot for Ernie? I don't want nobody old, though. I'm talking about being no president. Hell, it's getting to the point where I would be too old. Somebody my age. So y'all hurry up. If you are in your 50s now, you need to be preparing for the next time, because we need some young blood in there. Somebody, y'all know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say. Justice said The Rock didn't kill DCEU. The movies had good stuff, but overall they just couldn't pull it together well. Yeah, you find something decent about almost all of them. I'm still trying to figure out what it is in Wonder Woman 84, but I don't think it has any redeeming qualities. But other ones may. Yeah. Clarence says his girlfriend has been saying Ernie Hudson is fine all week after she saw that picture of him and Paul Rudd. And look, he looks good. I'm telling you, he looks so much better now than he did as a young man. So I'm guessing it's just all of us say, yeah, we could be, we could be older and sexy, and we all on pretty much on the same page. But he's a good looking dude. Yeah, that's what it was when Grace. He said, I think Cavill came back only because The Rock made it happen. They were both part of the same agency, which Henry left right after that movie came out. And yeah, that's the way I remember it too. It was his ex-wife was both of their managers. Yeah. And Henry seemed to have gotten a little peeved by them asking him that to do that, just to try to make, attack, just put an attack on post-credit scene just to try to make people go see the movie. It was a manipulative tactic. And they realized also, you manipulate people and get them in the door, and then they find out your movie ain't shit. What are they gonna do? They're gonna go out and tell other people. I would rather have people go out and just tell the truth. Just tell what happened. The movie wasn't good or it was good, one way or the other, than to try to manipulate the audience, and then now they got a whole bad taste in their mouth, period. Um, oh, rating. I don't know. Did I give it a rating already? 4 point. No, I said a 4. I said a 4. I did. I remember. Okay. I ain't got nothing else about X-Men 97, y'all. What was I gonna say? I'm back here again tomorrow at 5 or 5:30, one or the other. Because we gotta do Star Trek Discovery season 5, episode 2. That one was called Under the Twin Moons. Oh, Silver Surfer. I said we were going to talk a little bit about Silver Surfer. Thank you for reminding me. Um, so I'll be back here tomorrow anyway. Just talk about the Star Trek Discovery season 5, episode 2, Under the Twin Moons. We're going to do our review and discussion tomorrow. What was we supposed to be talking about Silver Surfer? I forgot. I don't remember. I know we were joking about it over there. Oh, just that she had been cast. Yeah, she had been cast. So look, y'all know that Julia Garner, I believe that was her name. Wait a minute, let me make sure I'm calling her the right name. Julia Garner. Yeah, okay. Julia Garner. I got right. Oh gosh. She is going to be playing the Silver Surfer in the MCU, namely in the Fantastic Four movie. Julia Garner, yay! Now, Julia Garner, if you don't recognize the name, she is probably best known for the role of I forgot what the character's name, Rose. In the Ozarks. The Ozarks. I'm trying to find the name of the character but I can't. Um, I don't remember the Americans, but yeah, she was in that too. But anywho, she is going to be um our Silver Surfer, at least in the first Fantastic Four movie. Um, Wingrave says her character is very linked to Norrin Rad, so the male version of the Silver Surfer. He says, so I'm pretty sure we're gonna see both versions at some point, right? I got a feeling it's multiversal stuff, and there was a channel. I think it was the New Rock Stars who believe that Galactus in the MCU won't just eat worlds, that he'll eat universes. So if that were true, then Norrin Rad and Shalabal, the female Silver Surfer, and the male Silver Surfer, they could be being heralds to Galactus, trying to save each other's universe. You get what I'm saying? So they could be leading Galactus to other universes to eat, trying to save both of their worlds for one another. I don't know if I'm making sense. I don't know if I'm making sense. Um, Clan says bring Doug Jones back to be, I guess, for the body actor uh, for Silver Surfer, because in the other Fantastic Four movie, we had the Silver Surfer. It was voiced by Lawrence Fishburne, right? And it was the body of the Silver Surfer was Doug Jones. And for the uninitiated, I am a Trekkie, and Doug Jones plays Saru in Star Trek. So Lynn Grace likes the idea of uh, bringing back Doug Jones, and oh, let's say that was a side conversation. Excuse me. Yeah, but that would be cool. But I don't know how they're gonna do it. But from what I hear, because again, I didn't watch the Ozarks. I think I may have started watching it and lost interest. And people say I lost interest too soon, so I may go back and revisit it. But from what I hear, she's got the range to handle uh, more than what we saw in the Ozarks or in other things that you've seen her in. Some people seem to think that she can be kind of pigeonholed, say she's one type of actress when she's apparently a dynamic actress. And you know what I do? I remember I saw her in Inventing Anna. Inventing Anna, Netflix series about Anna Sorokin, who was like the debutante sociopath in New York just a few years back. It hasn't been very long ago that she wreaked havoc on New York City and scammed a whole hell of a lot of people. Well, Julia Garner played her in that series, and she played her to a T, like the exact way that Anna Sorokin behaves and everything. So yeah, I think she's I think she's capable. Y'all got a lot of work for Doug Jones. Doug Jones, if he had y'all as his managers, he would never stop working. Shoot. Well, Guess we're done, huh? I think I am. Yep, I think I'm done. So again, join me tomorrow for Star Trek talk. I appreciate everybody for being here. Thanks a lot, Clarence and Win Grace, Justin, Marge, and I don't remember who else was in here, but it was somebody. I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.